Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld, now with more dragon fruit. To the shouting. Democratic candidates spar over who hates the rich the most. The clear winner, people who watch the Mets instead. That's baseball. Donald Trump's going to host SNL. Will that keep him at the top of the polls? And what's the over-under on number of hair jokes? Is the center folding? Oh, you like that? No more nude pictures in Playboy. Who should be the last model? Edie McClurg, your nation needs you. Let's get started. My drifter is defrosting.
He's exceeding his authority. He's a bad man, etc.
He runs around with all kinds of punks.
They're portraying him as a self-pitying, self-involved, pathetic person.
And I think it makes him look pathetic. And he should just man up.
Well, you could say it started out on a high note.
And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in.
Then it was all downhill. Less a debate, it was a coming out party for socialism. There was little disagreement and promises galore of stuff we can't pay for.
Stand up to the billionaire class.
Rein in the excesses of capitalism.
Donald Trump and his billionaire friends under my policies are going to pay a hell of a lot more in taxes.
To protect the Main Street economy from recklessness on Wall Street.
Make every public college and university in this country tuition free.
Expanding health care and including undocumented children and others.
The amazing thing about leftists, they can't even connect one dot. They say spend trillions on stuff and never ponder what might happen next. They say get rid of coal and never ponder what might happen next. They say end fracking, but never ponder what might happen next. Like I said, they can't connect one dot. Venezuela, a socialist country, has no toilet paper. That's a connected dot, a smelly one too. But in this socialism seminar, we saw Sanders and Hillary cut a deal. Hill wins, BS gets a job. It's a socialist setup. How did this happen? Well, socialism is cool for one reason. Most young people weren't born when socialism failed the world. And professors just refuse to teach that truth because it trashes their own assumptions. The result, a chosen amnesia about a belief that leads to misery. Sanders shouldn't be running for office. He should be teaching driver's ed. But now Hillary tries to out-left him, sacrificing principles for power. They mock what made America great while ignoring what kept America safe. Two of America's strengths, capitalism and national defense, got hit harder than my liver last night. Oddly, we've beaten so many bad guys, yet as victors, we adopt the losers' beliefs. And when asked about evil, they offered almost only American stuff.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said, "I ask you to judge me by the enemies I have made." You've all made a few people upset over your political careers. Which enemy are you most proud of?
I guess the coal lobby, the National Rifle Association.
Well, in addition to the NRA, the health insurance companies, the drug companies.
I would lump Wall Street and the pharmaceutical industry at the top of my list.
Well, perhaps they can't find evil around the world because they like it at home. The only exception, Jim Webb, who identified evil as something not American.
I'd have to say the enemy soldier that threw the grenade that wounded me, but he's not around right now to talk to.
All right. He joked about killing someone. It's amazing. He's humble, he's reserved, he's brave, he's got no chance. And that wasn't even the most upsetting part in all of this. That came later in what I'm calling behold this clip from The View.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
I thought that Bernie was so menschy in that moment, like a real guy. I actually am aroused by him.
Let's welcome tonight's guest. She can drink you under the table, then drink the table under the table. It's Meghan McCain, Fox News contributor and host of America Now Radio. Well, she's so sharp she sneezes thumbtacks. It's Eboni K. Williams, legal analyst and also a Fox News contributor. Well, he's funnier than a whoopee cushion made of joy buzzers. It's comedian Joe Machi, dressed in blackie. She's not homeless, just in between homes. It's Joanne Nosuchinsky. And if facts were sticks, she'd be sticky. Op-ed Katherine Timpf from National Review. And finally, he's made of wood and nothing else good. It's the liberal panel.
Hi.
Hey, I'm going to go to you first, Joe, because you're a pretty sensible guy, and you're often terrified of many things. What scared you most about that debate?
Well, I think it's when Bernie Sanders said that he would address Russia and Syria by saying that Russia would regret it. That's it.
That's it?
They would just regret it. That's very comforting to all the people in the Middle East that they're going to be sorry they did that. We're not going to do anything. But, decades later, oh, man, watch out.
All right, Meghan, I want to ask you, I have a theory. I have a theory about war heroes. They don't do well in debates because they find the rhetoric of politics to be beneath him. And I felt like I saw that in Jim Webb. It's like he was so out of place. He was like Abraham Lincoln among a basket of lemurs.
I mean, can I tell you something?
Sure.
I have been very drunk with my brothers, and even at their most drunkest, they will not tell me if they have ever killed anyone. Like my brother that's been deployed three times, 4 times, he came back from Afghanistan, so I thought it was bizarre that he was bragging about it. I actually thought it was really uncomfortable too.
But the only thing is, though, people knew about this already. They already knew about the situation with the grenade and everything.
I know, but my father doesn't like talking about being tortured all the time. I don't know. I just felt like it was the whole thing was such a show. I can't swear on your show. I'd like to. It was just it was just a ridiculous debate. I was so bored. There's not enough wine in the world that could have made it interesting. I kept having to pause it and replay it.
I will agree with that.
I mean, I couldn't handle it. It was so boring. I was like, I got to get into another industry. This is so boring. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, Jim Webb was he was so desperate. Like, how many times was he going to whine to Anderson Cooper about how he didn't get any airtime? Wow, poor me. Dude, when you get your time, that's your line? Come on. He was just ridiculous.
I beg to differ. I think Jim Webb did a heck of a job. He said that the enemy he's most proud of is someone he killed, and that's a guy I want to be president. The guy who kills people are his enemy.
That's kind of what I like, the uncomfortable laughter that followed, because it just said that they were not prepared for this, that he actually didn't pick, like he didn't say the health insurance industry. He said some guy that he blew up.
He didn't say Republicans either, which you got to give him like a little props for not going to Republicans, the real enemy, with Iranians. That was actually my other favorite part of the debate, is Hillary Clinton comparing Iranians to Republicans.
Yeah, that was fantastic. By the way, that was one thing. She did mention somebody that wasn't American, the Iranians, and that was such a weird thing, especially after the deal. I don't know what that meant. All right, Timpf, I got to ask you, Chafee, he was that strange guy that looks like Steve Doocy.
Yeah.
He might actually be Steve Doocy. But we've got to look that up. He claims he's never had a scandal in his life. Is that true?
No, it's not. In the 1990s, he used taxpayer money to buy 4 pet frogs for his office.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy because frogs are free.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't trust this guy with it. He actually, it's like buying bottled water. You don't have to
go outside when it's raining. There's your frogs, bro.
Yeah, that's
true. Could have
true.
avoided this whole thing.
How much? Do you know how much the frogs were?
They were only like a couple bucks, but they're frogs. Could have been $0.
So I guess he must have used like petty cash, thinking no one would notice. Would you why would you buy frogs for the office?
Well, apparently he had like a large aquarium in his office, and maybe the frogs are important to that little ecosystem in there.
I think people with animals in their offices are weird anyway. It's like weirdly distracting. I don't like it at all. It makes me uncomfortable. My dentist has this really weird fish tank, and I'm like, why do you need all these fish in here?
Well, I was going to say that's the exception, though, Megan. I think fish, for some reason,
No, I like
tranquil, relaxing.
Yes.
Not into it.
Speaking of being, though, a big fish in a small pond.
Transition to
You're welcome. I mean, yeah, I think Hillary was the winner of the debate.
Yeah.
But again, when you're in a koi pond, there's not much of a challenge there.
Lincoln Chafee, who can't remember why he voted for a bill and then blamed the death of his father. I mean, that is not that much competition.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
I don't know what debate you guys were watching. I think Bernie Sanders won that debate, actually. I mean, he had the moments. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was talking about anything Hillary Clinton said. And in fact, he gave her the model answer for her email debate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a mess. She hasn't gotten it right so far. She just should, like, her and her team should be in a conference room watching what Bernie Sanders said over and over.
Do you think that he screwed that up, that it was supposed to be an insult? I've read this. It was supposed to be an insult, but it turned out to be
high praise.
Yeah, high praise.
Yeah, it was high praise for sure. But again, to me, from a strategical standpoint, gosh, how whack are you, Hillary Clinton, that Bernie Sanders, your chief rival, can handle your scandal better than you can?
That is true. That is true. I got to go to the liberal panel. It's got to be tough for you to look at your candidates and see how boring and stiff they are. They're stiffer than you.
Well, they are. Well, thanks a lot. But they did talk about policy, unlike the Republican debates, and it's not socialism, it's capitalism, it's democratic socialism within a capitalist society. You want to talk about giving stuff away?
Yeah.
It's giving stuff. What Republicans do is give stuff to the top 1%, to Wall Street.
Yes.
Tax breaks to the rich. They're giving stuff away.
Yeah, and the rich pay the most taxes. What you're arguing for is crony socialism.
Not crony socialism. Is Social Security socialism? Medicare socialism?
Yes.
Medicaid socialism?
Yes.
You want to take all that away?
I do. I want to take all of it away.
See
you
how that
stupid
works
panel.
in the campaign.
I want to take it all away. I don't want the government taking my money. I can spend it better than they can, and I can't believe I'm yelling at you.
And you're going to give it to poor people? You're going to help the sick, the infirm, the needy?
A rising tide lifts all boats, as they say. You like that? I just made that up.
No, I think that's true.
Very true.
It is. It's very true.
Oh.
All right. Shall we go to, well, before we go to the break, I have a quick update on a story that we've been following. On Tuesday, before the debate, CNN revealed that they were actually keeping an extra podium on the ready in case Vice President Biden showed up. He never did, but it got me to thinking, what happened to that podium? Where did it go? I sent a reporter to find out. Here's our latest edition of Where Are They Now?
Here is that empty podium for Joe Biden in waiting just in case he decides to jump in the race.
That was on Tuesday. Biden never showed, but for the podium, Steve McStevens, it was a sad ending to a lifelong dream. That's because McStevens had hoped to follow in the footsteps of a long line of prestigious podiums. His great-grandfather served under FDR, his father under JFK, and his older brother was part of Ronald Reagan's most famous speech.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Sadly, because of the vice president, McStevens never got his chance to shine. Instead of the career that could have been, several dead-end jobs followed. First, he worked at the Bronx Zoo's woodpecker enclosure, but quit because it was too painful. Then later as a parking cone, but quit because it was too boring. And finally as a DJ, but quit because it was too easy. He was never seen again. Meanwhile, Hollywood A-listers are weighing in on McStevens' failed career.
We get into trouble when we don't have a sense of self, you know? And that's what this guy doesn't have. I mean, you just gotta be sometimes.
This has been a Where Are They Now?
Well, they don't always have happy endings, do they? Very sad, very sad. All right, don't go anywhere. We've got lots more stuff, including the awesome kids from the New York City Urban Debate League. They're back, and they wave fantastic. See, there they are. I wasn't lying. They're up next. Me a break. Oh, here we are. So all week, we've heard from folks like Brit Hume and Chris Wallace and Bret Baier and the thousands of co-hosts on The Five analyzing the first Democratic presidential debate. That's nice and all, but I want to hear from the professionals, those who are skilled at the complex art of debate. That means, yes, I want to hear from the New York City Urban Debate League. We're back again with Faye D, looking as suave as ever. Tara Lena, a first time. Don't be nervous. Of course, Chase, with his classic bow tie and suspenders look. Very, very fetching. And, of course, Joelle, who's going to make me look really stupid. All right, I want to go to, Fady, I want to go to you first, because I have a feeling you have a cogent overview of the debate. How did you see it in comparison to the Republicans?
Well, first off, I have to acknowledge that a debate in itself is it's the speakers, the judge, and then the people who view the debate.
Mm-hmm.
The Democratic debate sort of saw that their job is to speak to the people, that they have to tell the people why they should be president. But the Republican debates, they involved mostly trying to slander each other and trying to say that I should be president, not you.
Right.
So they focused on saying that you should decide who's president, but we're going to give you the details on why you should vote.
Interesting perceptive outlook. I would say, though, that maybe the Democratic debate was a little too nice. They could have been a little more boxing in there. But that's me because I'm kind of a jerk. All right, Tara, who was your favorite of them all? Who did you like?
I think I liked Hillary Clinton because, you know, she's running to be the first woman president.
Yeah.
And that's very important to me.
Why is it important to you?
Because during history, us women aren't very respected as men. So I think she's really taking a big step.
All right. Would you rather have a woman become president, even if maybe she's not as good as the male president? Would that play a role?
Yeah, I think so, because they'll give her a chance.
But what if she's not as good? Well, let me put it this way. Let's say you were going to the hospital for surgery, and you had a choice between a male and a female doctor, and you knew that the male was a better doctor. Who would you pick?
I'll pick the male, because obviously I want to have my life saved.
I won that debate. Did I win that debate, Chase? I destroyed her.
That's not the definition of a debate.
Okay, what is the definition of a debate, young man?
A debate is like, so you have a topic, and then they're a set of teams or a one-on-one debate. So then one person gives their opinion, and then the other person gives an opinion, and then one person talks professionally about why they think the other person's wrong, and then they go back on the background knowledge of the topic, and then they are the judge, sees who won.
All right. Well, let me ask you about this debate, Mr. Expert, Chase. What issue stimulated you the most, or you want to talk about?
Hillary Clinton's emails.
Yeah?
Because Bernie Sanders, he really backed her up, and just like Fady said, it's really important that they're supporting each other, because someone like Hillary Clinton is very credible and high up in the political aspect in the world.
But don't you think that the emails is an important issue? Because if you're dealing with national security, shouldn't she know how to handle her emails? Let me put it this way. What if you had a teacher who had information on you on her personal email system, but it was not secure? So all of your grades and your behavior is on her email. Wouldn't that make you nervous?
Well, for someone like Hillary Clinton, no,
I win.
No, not really, because someone who can back themselves up like Hillary Clinton or as myself.
Yes.
So it's really important that you're ready for these situations, because someone as high as Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders is important, because they're going to be, what comes great power comes great responsibility, and they're going to have to know in the future to how to handle situations, and not as good as me, but...
No, there's no one as good as you, Chase. We've established that by your fashion sense, especially. So, Joelle, what did you find interesting about the debate? Who did you like? Who did you not like?
Well, I thought, agreeing with, my fellow colleague, I guess you would say, I thought that Hillary Clinton was very powerful, and also Bernie Sanders. They both got their points across the table, and they both, also my colleague said that they both, they worked together and they did it in a fashionly order, and in the end, that came out as a great result.
You said, what did you like about Sanders?
Sanders, well, I liked how he, like Hillary Clinton also, he got his points across, and he managed to back up all of his points with statistics.
What point did you like the most?
I liked the most, as he stressed, I liked the most that he said that billionaires have a lot of control over our economy, Wall Street, everything, and how he wants to fix that. So I really thought that if he does become president, that we know that he will do good for the economy and the middle class.
Did you guys like his, he talked about free education.
Oh, yeah.
You like that?
That was, I think that was great, because I think the educational knowledge will follow in your future, but not the educational debt, because now everything's expensive, especially in the United States.
All right. Well, here's because you guys are the experts. Don't you think it's cheating in a debate to promise free stuff? It's like let's say I'm going against you and you have these facts, and I go, well, I think everybody should have free education. Everybody's going to want that, but it isn't really free because somebody has to pay for it. Imagine if you had a teacher, right? You had a teacher, and the teacher says, okay, everybody gets free ice cream today. You're going to like that teacher, right? But she might not be a good teacher. She might be a bad teacher. I'm not winning you over on this argument, am I? You want the free ice cream and you want the free education.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did I leave anything out?
Well, I mean, the thing is, with this whole idea of Bernie promising free education, I sort of saw it as good, but like behind, I saw like it was sort of suspicious because I can't really trust that it's going to be free because, like you said, someone has to pay for it.
Right.
But just because it's free education doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be a good system. Like, it's going to cost America as well.
Well, I think Fady just proved my point. Chase. I think Fady won this debate.
Well, I don't think education is going to cost America because in order to make America a better place, you have to have education. So so
it's an investment.
Yes.
Okay. I can't argue with that, or I would, but you'd probably beat me. Another great job by the brains from the New York City Urban Debate League, making me look stupid. Not that I need any help. Coming up, will Donald Trump make us LOL on SNL? We discuss, you deride. His campaign got even sketchier. Yep, this week Donald Trump announced he's returning to NBC, a network, to host Saturday Night Live on November 7th. He first hosted it back in 2004 during the first year of The Apprentice and when I was still in my early 20s. Roll it, Jarvis.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, folks. I'm Donald Trump. And there's two things in the world I love. A good deal and a good meal. So please, join me at Donald Trump's House of Wings.
Trump, you know our wings will make you happy. Trumpy, you know our wings will fill you up. Trump, if you want a place with awesome chicken wings, yeah, Donald Trump's House of Wings.
That's actually an improvement on the original song. This upcoming appearance will come exactly a year and a day before the 2016 presidential election, which means something. Meanwhile, the largest Hispanic civil rights group in the United States, the National Council of La Raza, called Trump's hosting gig a slap in the face to Latino viewers, which for some people is a bad thing, not me, because I actually like getting slapped in certain places downtown for a large sum of money.
Sounds like a personal problem.
No, it's not a personal problem at all. All right, Eboni. Yeah, I think when groups demand, petition somebody, it actually helps that person. It's like it only fuels the rise. Like if you say Trump shouldn't be on, then people want him to be on.
Of course, and especially somebody like Trump, right? His whole thing, he's a natural-born contrarian. So this is a guy that the more you push him back, the more that just gives him all the energy boost that he's going to have moving forward. Look, now, politically savvy minds say this is bad for Trump, right? He should be being a serious candidate. I think that is just ridiculous. This is where he's his best. He is an entertainer. He's a TV guy. He's best in his element. When you put him on a debate stage, he looks weak because he's not a policy guy. We know that. So this is where he can actually, the people that like him will like him more because of this.
Yeah, Joe, it's a good point. He can traffic in pop culture like other people can't. But what are your thoughts on this? You seem perturbed, concerned, or maybe just constipated.
Well, I think he'd be a great cast member, but I found it interesting that NBC wouldn't renew The Apprentice with a new host after Trump left because of the comments he made about illegal immigrants. But that was 3 months ago.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. We've all moved on.
In TV time, that's years.
Yeah, exactly. Soap opera characters die in 3 months.
They do, and get remarried after coming back to life.
That is so true. Or that's her evil twin. Meghan, are you looking forward to this? You excited?
Do you think I'm excited about Donald Trump hosting Saturday Night Live? I mean, I feel like the token non-Trump supporter, because everybody knows that like he's feuded with me and my father, and it's great politics on his part. It's a huge audience still. Saturday Night Live is the captain of all things popular culture with politics, has a huge influence on people. He's smart to do it.
You know, I think Trump has moved on from your dad. Now he's just going after George Bush. I think that's like every week there's a new person that he gets angry at, and not angry, but kind of like trolls.
It is so fake. I was just going to say, I think it's like fake anger. I don't think he honestly thinks anything negative about you, Meghan. I think he just needs that foil to play off of. And it's really unfortunate, and it's kind of a cheap shot that he just picks the most convenient person.
Yeah. Still don't give him your phone number.
Yeah, that's... That
Or
is,
do.
yeah. Yes, Camera. Joanne, thoughts?
I think he's going to do great. It's wonderful. I think he is the only candidate, though, that can host SNL. I do not want to see anyone else doing it. I think that it will fail miserably. I don't know. I don't think he's going to have as much of a following as Trump will for this particular episode. So, like, I think Hillary, especially, should stick to her pancake breakfast.
I think Ben Carson hosting would be fantastic deadpan.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Would that be great?
If it's treated as deadpan.
Yes.
You know, because I don't know. I mean, he is so low key, but he's so very, very bright. Catherine, when was the last time a presidential candidate hosted SNL?
1996, Steve Forbes did it, and he bombed.
Really?
Yeah, he bombed so bad that The Atlantic made a list of worst, most unfunny, awkward SNL hosts ever in 2012, and he was in the headline.
Yeah.
From MC Hammer to Steve Forbes. Paris Hilton was on that list, too. You don't ever want to be on the same list as Paris Hilton.
Yeah, that's true, especially with the health department.
Right.
Sorry. No, as world's healthiest people. That's what I really meant. Hey, liberal panel, it's gotta suck for you that none of your candidates could host Saturday Night Live. They just don't have the chops.
If Hillary Clinton hosted, then you'd blame NBC for supporting Hillary Clinton, right?
She already was on. She was on, and they treated her with kid gloves.
All right, but she didn't host it. If she were a host, she'd say, "Oh, look, NBC's favorite." Now, NBC.
I bet they've asked her. I bet they asked her, and she said no.
We don't have any evidence of that.
I don't need evidence.
Well, obviously not.
Yeah.
Look, here you have a situation where the network that fired him for his remarks about Hispanics is welcoming him back.
Yes, we made that point.
I'm making it again.
Yes, very good. All right, we have time for this. This is the most important story of the day. McDonald's thought that it had it all figured out. Let's punch up the sales by serving breakfast all day long. So they've been doing it for about 2 weeks, and already some franchise owners are already barking. They say all-day breakfast is causing all-day slower service, all-day chaos in the kitchen, and all-day not having better sales. That calls for a... Yes. Joanne, it's only been a week. Shouldn't they be a little patient? Let this.
Oh, definitely. You need kinks to work out, for sure. It's going to turn into who complains louder, the people who want breakfast all day or the people who don't want these long lines. They're going to have to figure that out.
But maybe it's just me, but the breakfast cutoff time was a very fun game I played with myself.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was always about getting to the buzzer. So now that, like, I don't have the same incentive. I don't want the McMuffin anymore.
And the people who complain the loudest are usually hungover at McDonald's seeking that breakfast past 10:30.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, that's true. That's the best part of World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Is when somebody they record somebody who demands that they have the food and they don't have it, and they start yelling, and then there's a fight and they end up on the ground wrestling. It's beautiful.
How I haven't been involved on the internet in a video like that about McDonald's fights, I don't know at this point.
But then there's those others. But here's the thing. Has anybody gotten someone to serve them breakfast after the 10:30?
Yes.
I had one.
Really? I bet it was a guy.
I'm so proud of myself.
I bet it was a guy.
Greg.
Yeah, I know. I'm sexist.
It definitely was a guy.
It was a guy. Of course, nobody will do it for me. If they do it for me, then they'll do something to the sandwich. Like, this is really stupid when you go to a fast food restaurant demanding stuff, because if you demand stuff, they're going to do something to it. I swear I've eaten many a sandwich with hair in it. Sometimes my own. Catherine, is there anything beneficial about eating breakfast for dinner?
Well, yeah, because the food is cheaper and easier to prepare. I have this study here from Dr. Natalie A. Nevins, who's an expert on breakfast and eating and food. But, you know, I just feel like when you're going to eat breakfast food, I've only ever eaten a ton of it. So I don't know if Natalie necessarily knows what my habits are in terms of eating. But, you know, for some, I guess, an egg or two is better than a giant bowl of spaghetti, is basically what she's saying.
Well, that's interesting. Liberal panel, what do you, fast food do you eat? Or do you just eat the...
Well, as you can tell, I have a pretty big mouth. pizza fits really nicely.
Yes, it does. You do. You have the mouth of a brick oven pizza
Exactly.
oven.
Perfect
You do.
fit.
Yeah, you do. I'd like to put that in there right now, permanently.
Thank you very much.
All right, go away. Coming up, Playboy magazine is getting rid of all those horrible articles. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. They're getting rid of the nude women. Stay tuned anyway. Playboy will no longer publish photos of nude women. Why? Because thanks to the internet, pictures of naked women in a magazine are as useless as a third nipple on a blind cat. Playboy execs say the change will happen in March 2016, oddly the same date they plan to replace Hugh Hefner's head with a robot succubus. They say the print edition of Playboy will still feature women in provocative poses, but they will no longer be fully nude. Instead, they'll wear things like shirts. Essentially, it's now Maxim for retirement homes. Incidentally, full nudity was banned from the magazine's website last August, and the site's traffic actually quadrupled, which is the first time putting clothes on a woman actually increased circulation. Stupid joke, but I left it in there anyway. Meghan, Playboy's approached you before, right?
I did an interview with Playboy for 20 Questions, which whenever people give me crap about that, I say Dick Cheney has also given interviews to Playboy magazine as well. I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I think it just shows that sex and nudity isn't that exciting anymore. We're so oversensitized with it and the internet. And less is more, ladies. Less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah. Put your pants back on, Joe.
I feel like I'm being ganged up on here.
Yeah, oh, yeah, in your dreams. Okay.
In the best possible way.
Yeah. So, Eboni, the Playboy is trying to portray this as a victory, like I had spit on me. They're trying to. I'm already drooling. Playboy is trying to portray this as a victory, that somehow it's unnecessary now because porn is everywhere. It's like a victory for chronic masturbators, and this is supposed to be good news.
Yeah, I think they think they're taking the high road, but the thing is, Greg, for my male friends I talk to, Playboy is not the first magazine you'd pick up anyway for that type of pleasure activity. You know what I'm saying? So they really are, to Megan's point, a legitimate place for articles and stuff. I think
really.
there was a day where
time for really good political journalists.
I want to chronicle the man hours that are lost due to the massive porn obsession in this country. Like, how much time is lost because men are busy doing things.
Am I the only one that thinks this is sad, though? I actually kind of like Playboy in the sense that I think it was a really nice, classy way to do nudity.
It is the rotary phone of pornography.
I felt very distinguished.
Esquire GQ. If you're going to go like sort of fake nude for a professional woman, Esquire GQ, not Playboy.
It's the horse-drawn buggy of perversion, Joe.
Well, I think it's a good thing. I don't care for smut to begin with. And second of all, maybe they could put the centerfold just an educated woman talking about how much money she makes. That's a turn on for me.
It certainly is. Joanne, you're a millennial, whatever that is. They say that's part of the reason of the change. The millennials are no longer interested in this.
Well, yeah, because of technology, you can get that instant gratification of seeing a nude woman at the click of a mouse, you know? I do think, like Meghan said, it's important to bring back the art of the tease.
Yes.
You know, that would be great for young millennial men to understand.
True.
Once again, I just feel bad for me personally. As a millennial, I am selfish. And I won't ever have that sort of mind grappling I'll have to go through of whether or not to shame my father with the centerfold.
That's a great point.
You know?
There have been times when I was hosting Red Eye, the guests on Red Eye were going, they asked me to do Playboy, should I? And I just go, no, and but they would do it anyway, because sooner or later they would need the money. Speaking, Kat, Playboy Mansion. I like to think of the Playboy Mansion as like the picture of Dorian Gray. As the magazine tries to stay the same age, the mansion just falls apart. And it's known for its bunnies. Are there any other animals there?
Oh, yeah. The dude's a freak. He has a zoo in his backyard. Right after he has an actual zoo license. He has doves, peacocks, all kinds of animals. Because I guess, he just needs more. If you see all these naked people all the time, see something to be excited about, which is why I've never looked at a naked person.
Really? That's interesting.
I've not even myself.
Yeah, when you look, naked people, by the way, it's just unusual looking.
I wouldn't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's the human body. Whoever said the human body is beautiful, they were lying. It's a strange thing. There are certain things that make no sense. We'll talk about that later for another hour. Maybe we'll do a whole hour on that. Liberal panel used to subscribe to Playwood, right?
Playwood. Well, I could use a coat of paint. Otherwise, I'm kind of naked here, right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, you're naked in your stupidity.
This puts a whole bunch of airbrushes out of work.
That is true. Didn't think about that.
The whole industry.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that. Okay. Time to take a break. Still to come, we've got Gregmail, which is mail, M-A-I-L. Plus, the scariest story you're going to see all week. Leave now, and I'll write an angry letter to your employer. I will. As you know, Halloween is almost here, which of course is a great time to tell scary stories, especially when they're true. See this VHS tape that I'm holding here in this hand, my right hand? John Stossel, the guy with the mustache, gave this to me, along with a simple note that read, "This is the scariest thing you'll ever see, but it might save your life." So I'm going to play this tape for you, but be warned, it's not for the faint of heart. So we encourage small children to leave the room now and maybe get your parents a beer.
And then he said fax it to me, and I'm like, who faxes?
How do you do that?
I don't even know how to use a fax machine. I always have to get
5 minutes to showtime, ladies.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's like...
Probably has a scanner, too.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah?
Do you like the fall?
Yeah, sure.
What's your favorite fall flavor?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Pumpkin spice. I'm drinking a pumpkin spice coffee right now.
I know. You both are.
Where did this come from?
How do you know we're drinking pumpkin spice lattes?
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Lou Dobbs, is this you again?
Hi, ladies. Have a great show. Good to see you.
It's not Lou Dobbs. It's not Lou Dobbs.
Where did those Tasty Cakes brand pumpkin spice cupcakes come from?
We have to get out of here. I'm so scared.
I see basic people.
Kat, I can't see you. I can't.
Oh, there's a light right here.
Pumpkin cheesecake cookie!
Iced pumpkin cake!
Pumpkin Milanos!
Pumpkin spice Oreos!
Pumpkin loaf!
Pumpkin spice beer!
Pumpkin spice waffles!
Pumpkin seed tortilla chips with a hearty blend of pumpkin sweet spices and pumpkin seeds!
Starbucks Via Instant Latte Pumpkin Spice Latte!
Pumpkin spice granola bars!
Pumpkin delights!
The limited edition seasonal items are multiplying!
Kat, where'd you go? Kat?
I'm right here.
Where? No!
That was very, very entertaining. Where do they get music? Where did you get that music?
Where you get all music.
That's a good, I always wanted. Where do you get that weird music? They always have it's like a little child singing at a high level. It's like and
you know they didn't pay that kid well enough.
No, exactly. How old is that kid now? Is what I want to know. All right, that was very good. I'm saving this. I'm watching it later. Okay, don't go anywhere. Greg's mail's up next. Oh, I almost forgot. My God, in less than 10 days away. How to Be Right. That's the title of my new book. Nobody's looking at me. It's available October 27th. Reserve your copy now. And I'll be out on tour in support of this book, which you must purchase immediately. I'll be making stops in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Joe, those are 3 states. In all, I'll be hitting 20 cities, 9 states. Go to my website, ggutfeld.com, for more important information.
It's time for Gregmail. The address is gregmail@foxnews.com. I read, he answers, then we do Pilates in a pit of fire. Here we go. Christopher Savell from Catonsville, Maryland, starts things off by asking, would you consider running for Speaker of the House and immediately start impeachment proceedings against the POTUS upon your landslide victory, thus saving the country and perhaps the world?
Thank you, Christopher, for that wonderful compliment. But no, I can't run. I can't run for office. People say they have skeletons in their closet. I actually have real ones. I kill people.
Yeah.
And then they just decay.
The flesh actually has a lot of nutrients.
It really does.
So,
it really does. And also, I'm all for depopulation. You know what I mean? It's a very crowded planet.
Totally. Max from Chicago writes, love the show. I just have one really important question. Would you rather wear red for the rest of your life or be a mobile tree?
That's not actually an important question.
No.
No,
and
it's
what's
not.
a mobile tree?
What is it? It's a tree that moves? Isn't that John Kerry?
Oh,
Was
is that mean?
Was that mean? I don't know.
No,
Not
I
that he
think that was
watches
a
this
compliment.
show. He's out cycling somewhere.
Trees are essential for our...
Trees are our friends.
To sustain life.
They are our friends.
Finally, from Scott Nelson, I think you should have a toe wrestling segment where female guests have to toe wrestle with Joanne or Katherine. Kind of like Iron Chef meets thumb wrestling, only with toes.
Okay, this is interesting.
This is
This is
awful.
a very interesting thing. Why is it that the only fetishists that watch TV are foot fetishists? Every single show that I have been on, whether it's Red Eye, The Five, or this show, it's only the guys who are into feet that write.
And some women.
Some women, that's true.
not
That's true.
discouraging.
By the way, toenails. How can you be a foot fetishist with toenails? Evolutionary, they've outlived their usefulness. You people think I'm weird, but it's true. Toenails, against it. All right, we got to move on. Joe Machi, always a pleasure. Eboni K. Williams, she won't tell us what K means. Meghan McCain, a pleasure. Joanne Nosuchinsky, Katherine Timpf, Lou Dobbs, yes, Lou Dobbs, the students from the New York City Urban Debate League, and of course, the evil liberal panel. I'm Greg Gutfeld, and I love you, America. Not you, Venezuela.